Hello everyone, my name is ZCubed, and today I wanted to give a tutorial on how to perform the Wario's Goldmine wall bounce. Recently, I saw a video tutorial on how to perform the Wario's Goldmine wall bounce that not only do I believe is lacking in information and missing a lot of key details to perform the trick properly, but also has misinformation in the video, which will lead players astray when trying to learn the technique for themselves. In this video, I hope to point out the flaws as well as fill in the missing pieces for the original video tutorial, so that way players will be able to learn this technique as efficiently as possible. Without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So first, let's start out by pointing out the flaws in the original video.
The better shortcut is the invisible wall bounce. Just go parallel to the zipper and then drift right, you'll land much quicker.
First of all, I wouldn't recommend having a parallel angle into the zipper, and I wouldn't recommend being perpendicular either. While you can make it work with a perpendicular angle, I recommend having a slightly right to left angle when approaching the ramp. This way, when you trick off of the ramp, your bike has to rotate less and your back tire can collide with the wall more easily, which is what you're looking for when attempting the wall bounce. Also, in the original video tutorial, he says to do a drift trick when going off of the ramp, and you definitely do not want to do this. There are multiple ways of doing the wall bounce. In this clip, what I do is I hop onto the boost panel and then trick after hopping instead of doing a drift trick. Here's what will happen if you do try and do a drift trick. If you continue to hold drift and right, you're just going to go flying over the wall. You're not going to have any chance of colliding with it. First, I'll explain probably the technically simplest method of the wall bounce, which is no turn skip, no hop. When taking the turn before the wall bounce without doing the turn skip, you want to be following this rail that Funky Kong is on right now. By following this rail, you'll have an alignment out of the turn which will allow you to set up the wall bounce quite nicely. Once you complete the turn, you're going to want to set up the angle for the wall bounce. I would recommend setting up the angle on the upslope. This way, you can change your angle between wheelies instead of during a wheelie, so you don't lose time while wheelie turning. When tricking off of the ramp, you want to do an instant trick. Most of the time, doing a delayed trick off of a ramp is faster because you get less air. However, in this case, the trickable surface, when it first starts, is way lower than the end of the ramp, so you're going to get a lower trick if you instant trick. It's also important to note that for this specific setup to work, you want to do an up trick. You can make the wall bounce work with a down trick, however you have to do the recovery a little bit differently. After tricking, you do want to hold right almost immediately, however you do not want to do a drift trick. Once you see that Funky Kong's bike has rightwards momentum, you want to tail dive immediately. In order to get shot forward by the wall, you need to be in a tail dive when you collide with it. Otherwise, you're going to get shot down, as you'll see in this clip, which is significantly slower. Finally, to complete the wall bounce, all you have to do is just wheelie when you land. When doing wall bounce out of a turn skip, everything is exactly the same, although you have less time to figure out how to correct your angle when actually approaching the ramp. As shown in the beginning of this video, oftentimes people like to hop onto the ramp when doing the wall bounce. When doing this, the trick is almost exactly the same, and it saves about the same amount of time if you didn't hop. Finally, I will show you how to recover a down trick wall bounce. Instead of leaning back when tricking, you want to nosedive the entire time. However, I do not recommend going for this method as it makes the technique harder and you can potentially lose time from the recovery from a bounce landing, as you can see here. And that's going to do it for this tutorial. If you have any questions on this technique, please leave them in the comments and I will try to respond as soon as I can. Also, if you have any feedback on this video, please let me know. My goal for this video was to make it easier for players to learn this technique, so if I have not done so, then this video is essentially redundant and I would like feedback on how to make it so I can do that in the future. Also, if there are any other techniques that you are interested in learning, please let me know, and I might make another one of these videos to teach you that technique instead. Thank you all for watching, and have a good rest of your day.